Welcome to Seeing the Unseen, everyone. My name is Darren, your host, and this week we've got a wonderful show lined up for you with a special guest, Mr. David Kyleman. We're very, very fortunate to have David on the show, as he's very experienced with the Dogman phenomenon. He's had several encounters with Sasquatch and Dogman, and he's a very, very interesting guy, a very lovely guy as well. Now, just to forewarn everyone, we do have lag or a bit of delay on the line, so if it appears that we're talking over each other quite rudely or impolitely, it's not the case, it's just a bit of lag, so please bear with us. We've also got the lovely Barbie in Texas co-hosting tonight. How are you doing, Barbie?
Hello, Darren.
Hi, good to have you here, Barbie. It's a bit different having you on at the same time, so it's wonderful.
Thank you very much. It's a joy to be here, as always.
Lovely. And from Michigan we have David Kyleman, a very interesting fellow, had numerous experiences, very varied experiences. David, if you could please introduce us to your first encounter and what exactly happened and walk us through it, please, that'd be fantastic.
Right. Well, if you're interested in Dogman and Bigfoot and Sasquatch and stuff, in 1994, I saw something run across the road on my way to my job, and it had ears and a snout, and it was like 7 foot tall. It weighed like 300 pounds, and I thought I saw a Bigfoot. But of course, started thinking, Bigfoot doesn't have ears and snout, and so I figured out after a little time that I had probably seen a Dogman, a type of a Dogman. And for the past 24 years, I've been pretty much obsessed with Dogman, Sasquatch, cryptids, all cryptids actually. But, they're nearly a worldwide phenomenon. There's 4 or 5 continents sightings. If you look up Anna M.K. Larson's map, there's actually a map of about 20% of the sightings, maybe that's right. And it's called the Dogman map. It's on Google.
Right.
From the Quotahtog is the site, and it actually tells where they are, when they were. But in '94 it started it all, and I was on Vic Cundiff's show, the Dogman Encounter show. Mm-hmm. I was number 5, and they're up to like 200 now. So I've been doing this a very, very long time. And, I don't claim to live with them or see them all the time. The first time I saw one was maybe about 30 seconds, 40 seconds. It's all these people, that, stretch the truth or not. That's not good. I mean,
yeah.
I try to tell exactly what happened and be honest as I can with people,
Yeah.
And try to teach people, all these things. And we learn by working together. When people work together and instead of, fighting, arguing, a lot gets accomplished.
Yeah.
I'm proud of my groups that I have on Facebook. My Dogman Believers group is a really good group. We have like 5,000 members in that one. I'm also an admin in the Bigfoot community group, which is really big, like 30,000 people. But I have people from all over the world that help me. I have Australian friends, like Simon Young in Australia, and Justin Smith. They're like Yowie people. But they talked about the creature down in New Zealand that's similar to a werewolf. I forget the name of it, but there's some kind of a legend down there that they're rarely seen. And I've been looking into it. I've been looking into it lately because I knew that I'd be talking about New Zealand, so I started looking into it, and I found out they do have some kind of a similar beast down there that has been mentioned before. But I've seen a Dogman basically 3 times, and each one was different description, size. They were all different. They were not the same. And I wrote a little document about like the 5 types of Dogman, like Rougarou down in Louisiana. There's the works of magic to me. I don't really know for sure, but from all the folklore and the tradition and the history. But in Michigan, we started off here with the Michigan Dogman, and then Linda Godfrey came out talking about the Beast of Bray Road, which we found out was pretty much just like the Michigan Dogman, except just slightly different. They call that one a Googway, maybe Type 3. If you Google pictures on Google, Google the Beast of Seven Chutes, and it shows a very good picture of a Googway carrying a little dog. And it's a really good picture, clear picture of the beast that was sighted in Canada. So not too far from me, actually. And so these things are being sighted. If you guys have any questions or anything, you can elaborate on that.
Well, as you know, David, I've only
I'd like to ask.
I've only recently become a believer in.
Sorry, Darren.
That's okay. A believer in Dogman. So I'm really honoured to have you on this show because you have had so many experiences with them. But obviously, in these communities, you seem to get people that are all about ego or that. But you struck me straight away as someone that just wants to get the evidence out there, and you've dedicated your life ever since your first encounter to doing that, haven't you?
Yes, I have. I've pretty much given up. I have 5 children. I spent a little time with them. I did do other things, but I've been blessed. I really haven't had to work for the last 20 years. I've been on disability for mental PTSD from the war. So I'm kind of blessed that I can do this full time, because I don't have to go to work. I can go live in the woods for a week and nobody's going to miss me. There's been thousands of hours walking around in the woods by myself at night just to have 2 minutes of sighting. So thousands of hours to have 2 minutes of sighting. That's the truth right there.
Awesome. Is it you wanted to ask a question there, Barbie?
I'm very curious. Do you have any visual recorded, like video, audio, tangible evidence of your of catching these things through your travels?
Yeah, I have some on audio where some coyotes were getting riled up, like get kind of heard them, and then all of a sudden something in the background, and instantly they shut up, and that's the only time I really got one on audio. I tried to take a picture one time, and I had a really good picture, and when I came back to the house, it was a pure white screen, like nothing was on it. It was pure white, the whole picture.
Wow. And
it was the weirdest thing I've ever seen. My camera's never done that before or since. It was really strange. The only thing I got is a leg one time, and that's I've been writing a book for 4 years, so I've had over 300 local witnesses tell me stories, about their friend or their self or their uncle or their cousin have seen these in Michigan. So there's a lot of them in Michigan. But that don't mean you're going to see one every day. That's like when the silverback gorillas were, never found. It was because they know how to hide very well, and their population is very low, very low. There's been under 1,000 documented sightings, where people come forward. So it's not really a popular thing like Bigfoot. It's more of a really rare phenomenon going on.
Amazing.
Do you believe these things are more evil, like werewolf type of creature, or do you believe that they're actually something more like a dog, like in between a dog and a wolf, or man and wolf?
Well, there's what they call types of dogman, and I wrote a small document, and it talks about like some are werewolves, and I don't know if they transfer from a man to a dog, but that's all legend, and that's the work of magic, which some people don't believe in that, and I've never seen it for myself, and what I go by is what I've seen. The Michigan Dogman was a flesh and blood creature, but there are things called shapeshifters that could be anything. They could be a 600-pound dog man, or they could be a 10-foot tall one, or they can appear to some people, and the people next to them can't see them. Some people are more aware of like spirits
Right.
that are out there. Some of these creatures are
Yes.
what I call spirit form. They're not flesh and blood. And you know, when people die, their spirits live on. You know, like ghosts.
Yep.
I believe that the Dogman, Bigfoot do the
Yes.
same thing. They have spirits as well, and that's why when I get around them, sometimes my hair will stand up on my arms, and you'll get that feel of an energy going through your body, like something's around, like a spirit or a ghost. And that's how I know when something spooky is around, and I actually go towards it to try to, like a magnet, try to, you know, go towards it to see what's there and investigate it. But, you know,
Right.
the last encounter I had, I was
Right. Your
what they
sixth
call
sense
that.
kicks in.
Yeah, I have a sixth sense a little bit, and I'm not saying I'm psychic or anything like that, but I did have a near-death experience where I almost died in the Marines, and then also I took too many pills and drank one time, and they had to shot me back to life. So people that have had a near-death experience are really inclined to see spirits and be more aware of things that
Yes.
they call supernatural. But actually, there's no such thing as
Yes.
supernatural. Everything is natural. It just hasn't been discovered by scientists yet. They didn't.
Amen.
In 10,000 years, think of what men will discover. All these supernatural things will appear like they're natural because we figured it all out. Well, men don't understand everything. They call it supernatural. They call it magic. But actually, it's natural. We just don't know how to master it. We don't know how to grasp it.
So, David, do you actually see...
Eloquent way to put it. I agree.
It is. Do you actually see or hear human spirits as well? Or
What's that?
do you...
Didn't catch that, sorry.
Sorry, do you actually hear or see human spirits as well? Do you care to talk about that, or...?
Oh, I've had plenty of spirits. My mother passed away like 7 years ago.
Sorry to hear that.
In her house where she passed away, and the lights flickered, and I've actually seen my mother, and but I've seen ghosts probably 30 to 40 times. Everywhere I go, I feel them. It's like even this new apartment, I could tell there was a man that died here. I mean, you could just feel their spirit in the air, and it's not BS. It comes to me, and I know it's real because I just feel it.
Yeah.
And I can't explain how I know it, and I really can't explain it. And people call BS on it all the time. Oh, you're crazy, you're this or that. But I really feel that when there's a spirit around, because you'll get that feeling. You'll get that, like your arms, you'll have the hair stand up on your arms. You'll feel like an energy. And it's like a weird feeling. And I've actually seen things get thrown around, like plates get thrown off of tables. Things get pushed off the walls, like paintings, stuff like that. And I used to live in a house that was super, super, super active. And I had to move out of there. It was just too much. That was right here in Michigan.
I can relate.
I live right in a really, really old area, a really old town. And there's a logging industry here. And they have a cemetery with glowing headstones with ghosts there. It's on the internet. And it's in Everett, Michigan. Just Google glowing headstones, and you'll see where I live at. That's only 2 miles from me.
Wow.
This area is full of Indian burial grounds. Natives were here for hundreds of years. They constantly find little mounds all over, with native people that was buried there. And, them spirits live on. They don't want you, like an apartment building right on top of their burial mound. That's, that disturbs the spirits. And, you don't want to disturb the spirits because, they can do things to you, keep you up and make you crazy, that spirits are real, very real. And people need to realize that.
Oh, we know. We're very, very aware of that.
There's something out, that's not in this dimension.
Yeah.
I call it another dimension where they go, the ghosts, But I feel that Dogman, some of them could go in that same dimension. And I feel that Bigfoot can do the same thing. And that's because they use their entire brain instead of just parts of the brain like humans do.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And they can tell by where our brain is stimulated how much brain we use. I guess we only use about 50% to 60% of our brain. The other 40 to 50% has been turned off. Now, what's in that 40 to 50% is things that we haven't discovered, the supernatural, the sixth sense, the seventh sense, whatever. But there's things in our brain that we haven't unlocked as humans yet.
Absolutely.
Yeah, fear is a tremendous thing. Fear is what keeps us really from being able to experience so many things that people put blinders on because fear interferes with their ability to open up and tune into their senses. It's like the deer in the headlights kind of thing, you know. You get locked into a certain sense of things or a way of things should be, and you lock into that, and you're mesmerized by it. You tend to not look around you. You just understand what's coming at you. So I totally understand what you're talking about, and I agree wholeheartedly. And I think both Darren and myself would, you know, you're gonna get sympathetic people here that are going to agree with everything that you said. So
yeah.
Well, I appreciate that because there's sure a lot of haters, you know. That. I just want to get along with everybody. I don't tell me, you know, some stories. Sometimes I don't believe them, but I'm really polite about it. You know, I mean, there's a right way to do things and there's a wrong way to do things. I try to do things the right way, the honorable way, the honest way. That's the only way I was taught growing up.
Yeah.
My people. I mean, I'm part Native myself, so that has part to do with it. You know, I'm an Algonquin, like 12%. And I've actually connected with the elders and talked to them about Dogman and Bigfoot and spirits, and they enlightened me quite a bit.
What endeared me to you straight away?
I have Cherokee running through my veins as well. Sorry. Sorry.
What endeared me?
I feel the natives are more attuned to it than just regular white people or whoever, you know, whoever. But I feel the Native American and the tribal people, even Australia, are more in tune with the paranormal than quote normal.
Yeah. What endeared me to you straight away, David, was that you don't, although you use the word obsessed about it to get proof, but you don't seem obsessed to convince people. You just tell your story, and people can either accept that or they don't.
That's exactly it. I'm not out to prove anything. I've already proved it to myself. People can either believe me or not. I just really don't care. I'm out there to learn for myself, and I share what I learned for myself. If they choose not to listen to it or learn from it, that's on them. But I have a lot of people that listen to me, and they're having positive results by listening to me.
Amazing.
Right.
So, I mean, there definitely seems to be
some very loyal friends.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. There definitely seems to be some supernatural element linked with these dogmen encounters. Well, not all of them, of course, but it strikes terror into people.
Yeah, well, that's the whole thing. When I'm around them, I try to show no fear. Like, if you're around a dog and you show fear, they can sense it every time. Like, say you're, like, go to your friend's house and it's barking at you, and you're fearful of it, they pick up on that. Well, just like Dogman, Bigfoot, all that, even cougars, bears, they pick up on that. If you're not afraid, they're kind of like, why is this guy not afraid of me? What's going on? Like, he obviously has something going on, and it makes them more cautious, more less aggressive, actually. From what I've found, I've actually ran into cougars, bears, wildcats, bobcats, and I've never been attacked. And I've never been, had things happen to me. It's just been pure luck, I guess, or maybe not, But it's when you spend thousands and thousands of hours in the woods and you have no major bad incidents besides one. I had got infrasound from a dogman or something, and I actually passed out from it, and I was sick for 2 to 3 days from that.
Wow.
So that can happen. I've never experienced it till recently. It was not good. I'm gonna read my little document that I wrote for you guys.
Sure.
I mean, not for you, but it says the 5 main types of dogman type creatures. 1, Michigan dogman type. I believe there's a type mostly in Michigan, Wisconsin, Ohio. They're not like most other reported types in other states. They're from 6 to 8 feet tall, weigh from 250, 350 pounds, fully grown, have tails, and are responsible for most of the sightings in those 3 states. Number 2 are the googways. These are the types that are bigger, more like a Bigfoot, appears in the smell. Also, they have a small or no tail at all. This is the type I believe was in my first sighting in Reed City. Well-known photo with the Beast of 7 Shoots is a googway, in my opinion. I've included a source in there. Bigfoot Tom is talking about the googway. These are aggressive and they're known to be dangerous. Some feel that these are the fat hide types, which is type 4 they call it. I'm not sure yet. I do not believe either the first type or the second are shapeshifters, but may be able to be multi-dimensional or appear as a spirit or ghost. Number 3, werewolves. Although they look like a bipedal man-wolf, they are shapeshifters and the work of powerful magic or evil. Do not confuse these with the first 2 types. They are not the same. These are lycanthropes, meaning they can change from one form to another physically, not spiritually. Big difference. Number 4, rougarous. These are creatures of legend from the French-speaking areas of Canada and Louisiana, Mississippi. These are not the same as werewolves, in my opinion, or type 1 or type 2, in my opinion. These are mostly spirits that go inside men, the rougarou. That's almost like voodoo stuff. And number 5, shapeshifters. These creatures are able to assume any form, including dogman shapes, their favorite form. A lot of times these shapeshifters take forms of dogman or other creatures. Their behaviors are not the same or the appearance. It's just similar. These are not natural beings here on Earth, and they're either alien or form magic. Many natives believe this still goes on today all over the world. Do not confuse these with the other types, except similar today. That's my document.
Awesome, thank you. Barbie,
5 types.
Right. Barbie, you're an American as well. I mean, have you heard about any of this before?
A lot of the varieties of dogmen I hadn't really heard about. The werewolves and shapeshifters, yes. And the ones that he's speaking about, the terminology used I'm not familiar with, but the ones that actually can enter into a human's body, yes, because I also have Cherokee in me. I have some Indian blood running through my veins. And because of that, I've done a little bit of research and into, my heritage and what the belief system was of the Cherokee. Much not folklore. I mean, it's very much known that, these things occur. So, yeah, absolutely. And I believe everything he's saying, and I think he's really nailed it. I like his description of, I like how you've put it to words there.
I'm just trying to break it down so people don't get confused, because they do not act the same.
Right, and there's different species of Sasquatch as well.
Yeah, no, I agree wholeheartedly.
There's different species of Sasquatch.
Right,
that's right.
That's right. There's a skunk ape in Florida, which is smaller, and the yowlies in Australia, of course, and they're actually discovering some yowlies with snouts and ears, almost like a bear a little bit. But they're having that happen with Bigfoots as well. They're seeing them with little bits of differences here and there. Well, everybody's different. Even us humans are different. So who's to say that they don't all look alike either? They can be bigger, smaller. I've even heard about 2-3 foot Bigfoots, but I haven't seen it. But I've heard about it. So
based on location, absolutely, and terrain.
I try to not believe everything I hear, but I take it in, and take it in and just put it in my memory bank, But I don't believe anything I hear basically on the internet. I mean, I just believe what I see and what I've experienced.
Yeah.
There's an old saying, don't believe anything you hear and only half what you see. I've been told that, and that's kind of what I go by. Half the time I feel like well, when I do see one, when I did see one, I feel one time it was a spirit form because it vanished before my eyes, and it was like a solid, and then you could see through it, and then it was gone. And then the only way I can explain that is that it was a spirit, and that was the second sighting. And once that happened, I had to reassess my thought process. Wow, these things are not just flesh and blood. And once you see something like that, seeing is believing, and it's just, it seems they find me, and when I'm looking for them in the woods, I don't find them. But when I'm like distracted or doing something in the woods, they find me. It's when you least expect it that they walk up on you.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. That's what spirits do. That's
exactly.
what spirits do.
Well, I mean, less than 100 years. Less than 100 years ago, people were laughing about the idea of people setting foot on the moon. I mean, it's like.
Yeah, 100 years
cell
ago.
phones and internet. That look at how. Yeah.
Right. People are attached to their phones nowadays. I mean, half the people driving around in Michigan probably wouldn't see a dog man because they're looking at their phone the entire time they're in the car.
That's right.
It's that bad. People need to get off these electronic devices.
Right.
I mean, live your life. Don't be locked to a phone or a computer. It's ridiculous. I've been on one all day. I'm hankering to get out in the woods tonight. I really want to go. I do this. I feel like I reset myself when I go in the woods for an hour or two and get some burrs on me, scratches, and get a stick in the eye. It feels like I reset my system. And it makes me feel good because being on the internet all the time, it's not good for you. I don't think, really, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
No, there's something to be said for grounding yourself outside in nature. Tuning in and kind of being one with what is.
Exactly. When you're a native, they teach you, how to be into nature. And of course, my family has a little bit of Tennessee Cherokee, so I have that in me as well, but not very much. But I've been taught certain ways to do things, be respectful, even to animals. Like, say we kill an animal, we eat the animal, we don't just waste it. We kill it, we catch a fish, we eat the fish,
right.
We don't waste anything. Everything is a gift from the earth.
Right.
When you're wasting things, when you're cutting down all the trees and taking everything, that's against nature, and that's what a lot of these creatures are, rebelling against, getting angry with. There's so many lumber things going on right now. They're running out of wood. They're taking literally thousands of trees every single day here in Michigan, and they're trucking them out of here in big semis. It's really sad.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've never actually thought of the aspect of it that the Dogman Sasquatch might be actually, fighting back. I mean, actually, you do hear accounts where they attack lumber trucks and things like that, don't you?
Yes, you have. I have. And I've actually seen them. There was a case where they moved a truck while it was parked at night that was thousands and thousands of pounds. And it was documented. They had pictures of it. But whatever moved that, we had to be pretty strong. And it wasn't a person because they locked the wheel. So they had to pick it up physically. And there was no track in the vehicle.
Far out.
It can happen. There's lots of things out there you can't explain. People fear what they don't understand.
Oh, absolutely.
When the more you understand, the less you fear. When you learn about ghosts and spirits and what they do, you don't fear them as much. You can go confront them. You can go in the house and say, "You're not welcome
that's so
here."
true.
You can warn them out, get some sage, and people say there's evil spirits, there's good spirits, there's lost spirits. I've seen them all. I've seen orbs in houses too, and I believe those are ghosts that are just zipping around, little orbs. I've seen that, and
right.
I just have seen a lot of things that I can't explain, so I try to logically go about and try to explain it to myself, just so I feel better in my mind. And then I try to share it with others what I think.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I know it all, because I do not
Right.
know it all. I learn more every single
Well,
day.
I don't think any of us do.
24 years
Right.
of this so far.
Wow.
Didn't start young. When I was like 6 years old, I used to go walk through the woods by myself. I was slightly autistic, so I was a very antisocial. I'd go in the woods and walk around pretty much all day from the time I was like 6, 12, 13 years old. And I know for a fact that when I was fishing, that a Bigfoot would throw a rock in the stream, and I'd constantly feel like I was being followed, and it was just a strange thing growing up that I was dealing with.
For me personally, I don't have a fear of anything supernatural due to my belief in Christ. So, I don't have a fear of death or a fear of the supernatural or anything like that. Although I will have to say, and I think Darren knows this, if I did encounter a dogman, I would need good, strong depends. Yes, adult diapers for sure.
I've heard of people reciting Bible verses to keep them away, and it actually did work. So some of them may be evil or just don't want to hear about that.
Yeah.
But I believe that I was raised a Christian, but I learned about the Creator and the native religions as well. I've kind of taken a little bit from both, and I'm also into the Sumerian texts about creation. How they put humans on the earth to mine, and you read into the Sumerian texts, it tells a lot about these creatures that we're experiencing now, because those were the test creatures before humans that seemed to survive somehow. Bigfoots, the giants, the other creatures on the earth that people don't believe are there, but they find them every once in a while, and they found skeletons, and they found so much evidence that's been suppressed. The Smithsonian destroyed hundreds of skeletons of giant creatures that were 8 to 10 feet tall. Hundreds of them the Smithsonian destroyed. And there's not mass hysteria and blah blah blah. But they were dead. How are they going to harm anybody? They're just skeletons. I don't understand why science wouldn't embrace that and try to investigate it instead of hide it. I don't believe in hiding evidence from anybody.
Yeah.
I try to share everything that I've found. I share footprints. I share, a lot of things, and I've shared with a lot of people. I don't have any good pictures,
right.
But I don't go out trying to take pictures either. You know what I mean? So I go out just go for a walk. I'm not really trying to prove anything to anybody else, only myself.
Yep.
Right.
Are you still there,
Does that
David?
make any sense to you all?
Oh yeah, absolutely. David, do you think the government knows about this, or the government knows about Dogman or Sasquatch, or?
Absolutely. There's been instances where people have come and taken a body away that's been hit by a semi, and they're there with very, very quickly to take away the bodies. Even when Mount St. Helens went off, they were carrying Bigfoot bodies off, and
wow.
they take them for science. They take them to the laboratories and break them down and say, hey, they have a heart that's over here, or hey, they have this extra organ, and wow, their brain isn't the same. They check them out just like, an autopsy or an investigation. And I know they're trying to use, like, cloning, trying to use these creatures for military purposes, stuff like that. And it's a giant thing going on that nobody really knows about. But people in the know tell stories, and I listen to the stories. I don't know if I necessarily believe them. That's what I've heard, not what I've seen.
Well, you were
Right.
just saying that the other
When
week,
you were in the
Barbie.
military, I'm just really curious. Yeah, absolutely. I thoroughly believe that. When you were in the military, David, did you encounter anything over there while you were in service? Did you anything like what you've seen here in the United States?
Well, not overseas. I didn't see anything overseas, but when I was on a post in California, Camp Pendleton, there was this memo piece of paper on the wall and said, beware of strange animals, creatures, blah, blah, blah. And it listed them. It said cougars, bears, rattlesnakes, and Bigfoot. And it said it right on the wall, Colonel something, blah, blah, blah. And when we were on patrol, we were not to engage them, shoot them, anything like that. We just had to report it. Say, hey, we have a number 5 at post E or whatever. And I never saw one.
Oh, so they use cryptic numbers to hide it. Sorry.
Right, but they used code. They didn't say, hey, I saw a Sasquatch. I seen a number 5. I seen a number 3. A cougar. I seen a...
sure.
It was all code. They didn't say, hey, I saw this.
Right.
You know, and it's all in code, and they tell each other, even on the radio, you know what they're talking about because you got another piece of paper in front of you, you know, telling you, you know, things like that. Mm-hmm. But I wish I would have kept that paper because I wish I would have just ripped it off the wall. No, took it. But we all do things. I don't know if I would have got in trouble for that or not anyway. So trying to do the right thing when I was a young man.
Right.
I've never been arrested. I have no police record, so you know, I kind of try to do things honestly. You know, best I can, and be a good example for my 4 children. My kids are all honor students and very successful, and it's because you know I have time to spend with them and I teach them right. I've actually taught them about Dogman, Sasquatch, spirits, ghosts, and they're all smart conversations we've had their entire life.
Well, you come across as very honest and very sincere, David, and most witnesses do, and that's actually what made me a believer. It's hard to discredit people that are so sincere.
Well, I have nothing to gain by telling these stories. You know, I don't get any money from this. This is all for free. All these Facebook groups I put all this time into, I don't get any money for it. I just do it because I want others to know. I want to spread the information. I want people to know, you know, every time there's one saw in Ohio or Minnesota this year, we got to share the information so people know. I mean, there could be a danger. You never know, you know, what's going to happen. I'm not saying they're out to kill you, but they can.
Yeah.
And so you don't go walking into their home. Like, you go walking in my home, there's a big bar by my door. Somebody walks in my door, they're going to be in trouble. Well, it's a similar thing with Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Dogman, any creature, any cryptid. You go walking in their house, set them to defend themselves. Family.
Yeah, very territorial. I was discussing that with Darren the other night, how I think that these things would probably be, just like any kind of pack animal, I would think that they would have a type of pack mentality. They may not be like a wolf pack, but I would think that they would socialize within their own hierarchy and have, you know, matriarch and all of that. So I would think that they would be terribly territorial about, you know, just like you said, that you're entering their home, and that's how it would feel to them, you know. And I think that's why some people have some of the experiences that they do, is because as far as these creatures are concerned, you've entered their home, you know.
Their domain, right? You don't want to go, you know, I know they don't live in the same place, they move around, but they get comfortable in a certain area for a while. And when you enter that area, you know, they got things, you know, made and food stored and things that they don't want you to run into, so they'll scare you away. That's their number one tactic, is let's scare them away. Because they know if they kill somebody, there'll be repercussions.
Right.
People will be back with guns. There'll be airplanes, there'll be helicopters, there'll be this, there'll be that. And they know out away from humans as much as possible. And when they see us way before we see them. And they can stay away and
absolutely. Their olfactory senses would be so much stronger than ours, you know,
they
much like a
dog. They smell us from a mile, and I know it easily.
I think I heard you the other day saying you've got around your area. You've got like half pit bull, half wolf. Is that right, David?
Yeah, there's some wild. Like somebody had puppies, like from a wolf dog and pit bulls, and
wow.
And they're running around. They're like 180 pound dogs that are on the loose, and you can tell they're, they got furs on them. They're, they can tell they're wild, but there's definitely some around here. I've seen them. That's the most dangerous thing I've seen in the woods. That pack of wild dogs.
Yeah,
Dogs.
extremely feral.
And the pigs around here. When you see a hog and it's a wild hog, watch out, because them things are really vicious. I fear a pig more than anything in the woods, because they charge you and they will bite you and lance you open in 1 second. They do not play around.
They can shatter limbs, they really can.
Do not mess with a pig in the woods. Do not. Climb a tree as fast as you can.
No.
Whoa.
Yeah, I agree. They're very aggressive.
You've got a hog problem in Texas,
They're a
haven't you?
real problem here in Texas.
Yeah.
They have lots of wild
they're,
pigs and hogs, feral hogs, everywhere in the United States. Terrible in Florida and Texas. They're getting worse and worse. In this area, a giant storm hit this pig farm, and over 150 pigs got out, like 10 years ago. Now there's thousands.
Wow.
They're all over the place. And, they're open season on them. You can see one, you can shoot it, take it home. There's not even a license required or anything. They're a nuisance,
Yeah, same here. Same here in this state.
They're
you just it's yours.
They're not encrypted,
they are.
but
And
they've caught them up to like 700-800 pounds. Didn't even know they got that big. And they had that Hogzilla one down south. But the biggest I've heard in Michigan is like 600 and almost 700 pounds.
Good grief!
They shot one there. Yeah, they get really big. And because there's lots of food here, there's lots of corn. There's tons of food here in Michigan for natural. I could live in the woods for a month and not go buy groceries. Put it that way.
Wow.
You're quite a long ways from me. You're very, very north.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's
believe
lots of things in Michigan to eat. There's always water everywhere you go. I'm in on top of the largest aquifer in the United States. It's Ice Mountain water. If you ever drink that, it comes from the town I live in.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
You drink bottled water, it says Ice Mountain on it. It says Everett, Michigan, and that's where I live.
Yeah.
And you've had marine training
that's
as well,
right.
of
That's
course.
Right. Yeah, survival training in Marines. I love being in the woods. My girlfriend's like, we got to go in the woods. You haven't been in the woods in a while. Well, yeah, I haven't been in the woods in a while, but I didn't have a car. I didn't have this. Well, things have turned around, and I'm back on my feet, and things are a lot better.
Awesome.
So now I'm able to go out, investigate, camp, whatever, and it's a lot better. Finally getting to where I want to be, again.
Awesome.
Have you ever stumbled across any of their building sites, like their little dwellings that they've created? Have you ever stumbled upon any of that, or their food stubs?
I'll get into something. There's these salt mines under the ground here in Michigan, where they've dug salt for 100 years. Well, they dug tunnels down to the salt mines, and they have like a den, almost like bear dens, but they're gigantic. They'll go under the ground during the day, and then when it gets dark out, they come out and they hunt and they eat. I found actual cave that led down, and I didn't really want to go in there. It was really creepy, but you could tell it went a long way. And since then, it caved in, and you'd have to dig it up to get to it now. But it was really interesting because I used to work at the salt mine, and we used to go miles and miles and miles under the ground.
Wow.
It's called Callium, and you're underneath the ground going through tunnels. It's really, really, really cool thing. I believe some of them live in there. To be honest with you, I heard terrible screams and moans and this and that when I would work there.
Ooh.
That would make sense.
That's years ago. They just use whatever they can do to avoid man. There's nobody down there in the tunnel. That's where they'll hang out.
Have you ever done a sweat lodge? I'm just curious, and since you have Native American in you, American Indian, I'm curious. Yeah. Have you ever done a sweat lodge since you follow that?
I went to a powwow and smoked a peace pipe, and I did some peyote and this and that, and have visions. And all I went through the process. We'll put it that way. I went to Oklahoma, went to Powwow, and embraced my native background and learned what I could, about how they do things and traditions, and it's very interesting how natives live. I'm attracted to native people. And
oh, very.
She's
it's very interesting. What about
instant connection? That's all.
What about a vision quest? Have you ever done that?
Yeah, my vision, believe it or not, was a wolf.
The vision,
and that's what came to me. And I went for a walk and sat down in a tree and just after smoking the herbs that they had given me, I don't know what was in there, but I went for a small walk, and my vision was a wolf, which is ironic because Dogman was a lot like a wolf. So I don't know if they were trying to get me to see my sixth sense or try to open some doors for me, but it seemed like things were much clearer after my vision quest than they were. It was fun and interesting, but
was it something that you did? Was it something that you did? Yeah. Did you spend the day or just like a couple hours?
It was a 3-day thing in Oklahoma. There was a big fire, a whole bunch of people there drinking, all kinds of stuff. It was fun. It was a giant powwow. I wish, I don't know how many years ago that was, but had to be like 98, something like that. But so that'd be what, 20 years ago. And I wouldn't do something like that now, to be honest with you. I would get a little older and wiser. But when I was younger, I experimented a lot.
Yes.
Like that. Even people say, hey, you take the mushrooms, psilocybin mushrooms, it resets you. Say you're depressed, you take mushrooms, and in a couple of days you're not depressed anymore. It does something to reset your body chemistry or something like that. And they're finding out that these people that take these mushrooms, they change their mindset and they change their depression, and it actually cures depression.
Well. Hey, well, David, we won't hold you up too.
I didn't know that.
We won't hold you up. We'll let you get out in the woods this evening, and but we want to thank you so much. Barbie and I want to thank you so much for taking the time to come on the show and speak about your experiences.
It's been a great 52 minutes. I don't mind telling you guys. I just want to tell you about my Facebook groups before I go.
Sure thing.
And Believers Only. Then I have the Minnesota Research Group, and I have International Bigfoot and Dogman Group is what I founded, which is a pretty good, big group. And I'm also a member of the Bigfoot community admin there, and I have been for years. And I'm an admin in 10 groups on Facebook, so it keeps me a little busy. My main one I deal with now is Dogman Believers over at Believers Only. I went live on there tonight for an hour, and it was really interesting. I really got into it. You guys should hear that. If you go to Dogman Believers Only, I'll add you to the group, and you can listen to that and get more information. But I recently just started doing this video and interviews again because I didn't have a good computer, and I didn't have internet or a good phone or anything. I was living in the sticks in an RV. But I appreciate you having me on and wrap things up. But if you guys ever want to talk to me again, just hit me up, and I'll come back on the show if you like.
Oh, thank you so much. We're really privileged to have you on.
It's been yeah, very much so. Thank you so much, David. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for your service to this country as well. I'd like to thank you so much for that and honor you for that.
Thank you. It's helping me now that and I'm not going to lie, that if I didn't have that, I wouldn't have anything. So it might have messed me up a little here and there, but the good things outweigh the bad, for sure.
Well, I appreciate your service to this country, and very honored to have met you and talked with you. I really appreciate it.
Same.
All right, y'all. Thank you, and y'all have a good night in Texas and down under. All right.
Thanks a lot, buddy. You have a good evening.
Well, all right. Thank you. You guys have a good night.
See ya.
Thank you. You as well.
All right.
What a lovely guy.
Yeah, What a great guy! Really, such a lovely spirit. I love his honesty. I love how he's not afraid to just say exactly what his experiences are, regardless of ridicule or whatever. Just put it out there. Just be honest. Just share the information, and don't worry about being judged.
Yeah, that takes guts. I mean, he's a very courageous guy, and he's like you said, he gets nothing. There's nothing he's gaining from it apart from just speaking the truth. What he knows to be true.
Yeah, you're such a great fellow. It was such a pleasure to be able to be, part of this right there with him and ask questions and interact. Because when you come in after the fact, there's things you think, oh, I would have asked this or I would have asked that. It's just lovely to been a part of it and experienced it and ask what things that were on my mind.
And I, like a lot of people, I used to, I've been listening to Sasquatch Encounters for, Sasquatch Chronicles for 2 years and listening to people's testimonies. But, when you're actually in the position where you can actually talk to a person that's actually witnessed them, and you hear their sincerity and their honesty, and, wow, it's mind-blowing. It really is.
Yes. It's more enriching. It's more you can feel it. You can sense it. Their experience. It's real. You feel like you're a part of it.
Yeah, what a great fella. No, it was awesome talking to him, and I hope we do again one day. That'd be great.
Oh yeah, we definitely should have him back.
I'm sitting here just with my mind blown. It's
Well, he's got a million different experiences,
Yeah, and the supernatural aspect of it as well. It's like he's not afraid to come out and, say what he thinks there and what he's experienced. It's very refreshing.
Yeah, I think it is. It's extremely refreshing instead of being, feeling like he's got to be silenced, because of ridicule or what have you. And, I think it's great how he said that, he just wants to share and he can't stand the drama and the hate, and that's not what he's all about. That is, you're that way, I'm that way, just could really relate to the guy.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know why that actually arises in communities, but it's even the same in theological circles. It's like, if people have differing opinions, that's fine, but when you get people attacking each other and saying they're heretics and all this for not believing this, or this, it's like, far out.
Yeah, it's a disservice. It really is. It's a disservice to themselves because they put blinders on and unwilling to accept any more knowledge, like, oh, gee, this is the way it is and that's it, black and white. And unfortunately, that kind of mindset really doesn't allow people to grow. It just, it stops growth,
I think it's pretty much a shutdown. It's like if you don't agree with somebody, it's easy to, it's the easier way to just say, oh, well, write them off as a heretic. Yeah, rather than just love the person, accept what they've said and that they believe that, look into it yourself, and even if you disagree with it still love them. But you don't, why this arises.
Well, yeah, that's right. I don't understand it. I really don't understand, hate. I don't get hate. I just don't get it. I can understand wanting to distance yourself from people who have hate in their heart. Absolutely, protect yourself. But to hate other people because they have a different belief than you, or they don't see things through your eyes, or understand things through your experiences, I really think it's a disservice to people to do that. I really do. Feel very strongly about that.
Well, we do hope you've enjoyed the show, and just to reiterate, David has a Facebook page called Dogman, Believers Only, and it's a marvellous page. I've joined it myself. Great group of people, and David goes on there quite regularly and does live streaming, and so you can ask him questions there, etc. And it's well worth a visit. So that's us for tonight, and we look forward to seeing you again next week. Thanks everyone, and good night and God bless.